On this site, a large and beautiful two-story house once stood, with an enormous wraparound porch and several outbuildings. It belonged to Mr. and Mrs. George Thompson, who also owned a Manhattan townhouse and a summer house in the Catskills. When the Thompsons would go to the Catskills for the summer, they would rent out this house to other wealthy families who would come with their maids and servants to vacation in Oyster Bay. In the summer of 1906, however, a wealthy New York banker named Charles Warren cut short his family's stay at the Thompsons after 6 of the 11 people in the house were stricken with typhoid fever, including his wife, 2 of his daughters, 2 maids, and a gardener. After seeking medical treatment, everyone recovered, but the typhoid scare sent them home early. Oyster Bay health officials sent 2 investigators to determine the cause of the outbreak, but they were unable to find any contaminated food or water in the house. Worried that fears of typhoid fever might keep them from being able to rent their house, the Thompsons hired a noted epidemiologist named Dr. George Soper to discover the source. After much investigation, he came to believe the typhoid must have been spread by a cook who had worked there only a short time, right before they got sick, and left right after. Her name was Mary Mallon, dubbed by the press as Typhoid Mary, and she became the first identified healthy carrier of typhoid in America. Dr. Soper had discovered outbreaks in 7 of the 8 households where Mary had worked, and could link her to 22 illnesses and 1 death. However, he could not convince Miss Mallon that, although she felt perfectly well, invisible bacteria inside her caused people who ate her cooking to become sick. She refused to cooperate with Dr. Soper and actually attacked him with a carving fork. Soper, undaunted, showed his findings to the health inspector of New York City. Though again she brandished the carving fork and then tried to run away, fighting and swearing, Mallon was taken into custody. She was isolated from the public at a health department facility on North Brother Island, New York. After 3 years, she was released under the conditions that she no longer work handling food and check in regularly with the health department. Unfortunately, she broke her promise. When they found her in 1915, she was working as a cook at a maternity hospital in Manhattan under the name Mrs. Brown. In only 3 months on the job, she had infected at least 25 doctors, nurses, and staff, killing 2 of them. Co-workers at the hospital had jokingly called her Typhoid Mary, not knowing it was actually true. She was taken into custody and sent again to live on North Brother Island. No promise of compliance would be accepted this time. She was forced to live alone in a 1-room cottage for 17 years, until she suffered a paralytic stroke in 1932. She spent the next 6 years of her life in a paralyzed state on North Brother Island until her death in 1938. Though hundreds of people were later found to be healthy carriers of typhoid fever, none were ever confined as long as the infamous Typhoid Mary.